Hi, guys. Welcome to Robin Hood Diaries again today. Thanks for joining me. As always, let's dive in. Preview today as basically the earliest influences that I had music wise and sort of, skipping around some other things, how I went from, I guess you could say, a bebop boy to a disco boy to a rude boy, which is when I hit 14 and, then that. So, let's just kind of dive right through all three of them. um, I just want to start by saying that if you are at all sort of hypersensitive to any sort of notion of cultural appropriation, if you're highly sensitive to that, you may want to pause and watch a clip later or watch tomorrow's show, because I have a hard time with unnecessaries, uh, particularly about my affinity for the Black communities. So that's going to be woven in here, as you'll see. So first album I bought, I actually did a clip of yesterday, last night, and then preview today also, which would be the Pointer Sisters. Now, the Pointer Sisters' first album is self-titled. I love that one too. That generated a hit. But the first album that I got was called That's a Plenty. And it is a scrambled genre of blues, bebop rock, more bebop, jazz, blues, and it was the Pointer Sisters. It was a 4-part African American girl group. So you have to remember that has phenomenal possibilities. Remember, Miss Ross and the Supremes, those were, 4 people. I mean, 3, but different kind of powerhouse. So I was being given albums at 7, like, let's see, Don McLean's American Pie, Helen Reddy's I Am Woman, Band on the Run by Paul McCartney and Wings. So this is AME type stuff that was being sort of piped. And so here I am now. I'm moving out of Beverly Hills, as I kind of mentioned in the description yesterday of this preview. And with that, I bring me a whole new sensibility in music, being that I basically bought that Pointer Sisters That's a Plenty 1974 album, like, almost en route to moving to the hills of West Hollywood. My affinity, for lack of much better words, for Black communities, and I always say communities, I don't know how that ever fell out of vernacular since I was a social worker, because there is no homogenous community. So, even the disability communities are communities. It's not a homogenous community, and I prefer differently abled, but whatever. If some of this may feel, I don't know, uncomfortable because of the colloquialisms of the vernacular that I use, whatever. This affinity leads to the point that my taste in music, from the time I bought that album until I essentially became a punk rocker at 14, was primarily and almost exclusively Black music. Music that stemmed from the Black communities out there in the world, particularly the music communities here in the United States. And therefore, or not therefore, but from that point on, and I'm just going to come clean, like basically 90% of my taste in music was out of Black communities, up until 14. So, I mean, again, no unnecessary about that. It's just the way it was. Nature nurture. Up until 3, I had a Black nanny, as we all know. I hate to put it that way, but she was the only person, not only female, aside from my dad, that showed me any affection, that held me, that told me they loved me, that anything. So obviously there's some sort of, I don't know,